everybody. Uh, hey, hey there. Good morning. You awake? um, so we are going to play 13 Demon Princes. Some of our wonderful Monster of the Week crew is not here today. We miss them, but they get to miss this fun. So that's really all that matters. So we're going to go around, introduce who we have here, and start with Dave.
Hi, my name is Dave. I normally play Lucius on Monster of the Week, but who knows what I'm going to play tonight? All I know is that Lex is going to fall prey to my charms.
Oh, God. Dinky?
I'm Dingo. I normally play Pippa on Monster of the Week, but today I'm competing with Dave for Lex's love, and I'm gonna win.
Oh my God.
Why is this happening?
I don't know, but I love it. Lex, last but not least.
I'm Lex. I'm gonna play Chip, everyone, and he's going to be why people want his love in hell.
Who doesn't want Chip's love in hell or on Earth? Come on. Mm-hmm. Why is this happening? I don't know. So 13 Demon Princes it's already been successfully kickstarted, which is great because it's an amazing game. 2, it hit all its stretch goals today. So amazing. It's going to have a full soundtrack, great art. It's great. Oh, is it Dank Dungeons TV?
I'm sorry. I was trying to do that without calling you out.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I can change it real quick. I always forget the TV. But it's a great game. We've played it once here before, and that was a time. Dingo was played with us. That was great. So we're going to...
Monty DeLaCroix showed up. It was really good.
Best.
Was it?
Katie's just losing her mind now.
Was it really the best? So let me make sure this works. Yeah, I fixed it. I know how to stream. So the pitch for 13 Demon Princes, I'll just do a little read through. Fire, brimstone, goat eyes, and the grim visage of hell itself. Let's dim the lights, light our black candles, shave our antlers, and put our hooves up on the couch for once. It's that time of the year again, Ghastly Gations, time for another season of 13 Demon Princes. Broadcast throughout the 9 Dantine plains of hell, 13 Demon Princes is every ghoul's favorite dating show, where one lucky demon has their pick of infernal suitors. We match them up, send them out on dates, and stir the cauldron of drama to ensure that you, impish viewer, have the most entertaining night of the week. From the satyr to the surreal, our suitors take all shapes and sizes. They come from all walks of life, death, and even alleys in between. Not bound by human forms or comprehension, our suitors explore existence in the eternal sense, truly finding their niche and mastering their demonic craft. Our suitors this season range from corporeal to
Ephemeral.
Thank you. Sometimes that word. Some rise towering over Tartarus with terrible stalks of eyes and screaming mouths that gibber into the evening. Others skitter through secret aqueducts high above the river Styx with sensuous tendrils reaching out into the night. One thing is for certain, they're all beautiful beyond imagining, and our lucky contestant will be hard-pressed to make their decision. Because while we each find our own personal hells that occupy our eternities, there's truth to the phrase that hell is other people, and we're all here today to share our hell with others and find the one.
The one being Chip Bryant, FBI.
God damn it. Chip Bryant.
FBI.
Okay, so we have already decided. I had no choice in this matter, actually.
Nor did I.
Nor did Lex. Dingo and Dave decided behind our back that they were playing the contestants, and Lex was the morning star and I was the host.
We're good friends like that.
Yeah, this is already decided.
I mean, we can change.
Nope, gotta do it now.
No.
So this game goes in sort of like different turns. You have an opening, you have a round table, you have a second date, then you have the decision, and then you have a little debrief, which is built into the game, which is really great aspect, I think. One interesting thing about this game, because it's not, as you know, it's not a dice rolling kind of RPG. It's more of it's actually sort of a LARP that can be played as a tabletop RPG, if you want to say. Each demon prince has special blood. This is something that runs deep within them as a character, and you get to give your demon blood to other contestants. And this is something we didn't really explore. Yes.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask, because we didn't really explore it that much the last time we played. I don't know what it does, other than I can give it.
I know.
Okay. Yeah,
so
you can explain it if you want to, yeah.
Yeah, other than the giving it, so what you do when you have it is if you spend one thing, you can take a moment and like have a cutaway aside where it's like your person like snarking behind the other person's back, etc. in a cutaway scene, like on The Bachelor.
Right.
Or you can add a detail to the scene for 2 demon blood, which we know that is all that, Lex is going to do when he's, one of the contestants.
Leave Lex and his details alone.
No, they're like the best, which is why I have to keep on bringing them up. And number 3 is if you spend 3 demon blood, you can add a complication to the situation.
And you all start out with 1. Everyone except the host can, has to keep. I'm going to keep up with how many you have. But the host can use them as many times as they want. You don't have to keep. I mean, that's your job as the host. That's sort of built into what you're doing anyway. Yeah, that's what you want to do. You want to make this game interesting. And your confessional is. It doesn't even have to be like a long scene, like a Big Brother scene. It can just be a little short comment that you make, if you want to spend it. And I think that's actually it, besides if, we know that Lex is going to be the Morning Star. Did Dingo and, Dave, did you pick your, contestants?
Implying we plan ahead.
That is true.
We planned one thing.
Yeah, that's the most important thing, though, so.
So I was leaning towards doing repugnancy.
Okay.
I don't know which one you wanted, Dave.
I will go with the hunt. Let's go with that one.
Okay. So what we do is we start out with the demons reading their true name, their little about, and then there's something of note. You sort of read your character kit. So we know, we know about you. You don't have to reveal your demon blood. It does say in the rules that it's optional. It could help if, we wanted to say, hey, do you want to give demon blood for this or something like that? But you don't have to reveal what they are. So Dave, if you want to go first and tell us about the hunt.
Okay. The hunt, true name, Artemal, she, her, hers. Artemal is 14 trillion years old, but moves with the spry confidence someone half that aged. She takes the form of a sleek carnivore with 12 snapping mouths. Her taut muscles spring in anticipation in response to sudden movements, and she takes pride in keeping her waterproof fur groomed and razor sharp. Originally from the plane of hunger, Artemal now lives in rural England, where her hobbies include cooking, triathlons, and consuming the unesthetized flesh of fox hunters. She lives in a charming 2-bedroom cottage and decorates smartly with animal bones and the trophies of her racing victories, which date back to the 1800s. Though her competitive nature can seem daunting, Artemal's confidence is also her most winning personality trait, and she keeps her more aggressive tendencies under wraps most of the time. She delights in seeing others win, as long as she's not competing, and she knows that a good hunt isn't about winning or losing, just as long as she wins. When Artemal isn't competing, she loves to spend time outdoors. Her fur is her favorite personal feature, and she loves getting bikini ready by pruning matted blood from the razor-sharp tines coating her entire body. Her streamlined pelt helps keep her slickly aerodynamic, as she's taken first in her village's annual triathlon 4 years running. If you're up to spending days running along the shoreline and having a healthy sense of sporting spirit, dates with Artemal will be some of the most intense you've ever been on. Each date, she loves grilling steak. After each date, she loves grilling steaks made from the pierced bodies of animal caught on the sharp ends of her fur. Talk about saving money on dinners. Something of note, Artemal has a strong sense of competition. Despite what you'd think, an ideal suitor for her is someone who can match this competitive streak rather than someone who can let losses by. She's nervous that her energy might drive other demons away, but what she hasn't admitted to herself is that sometimes winning gets old and that what she really might want is to get thoroughly beat. At the end of the day, she knows that a competition is fun first, and while we should all try to be the best, it shouldn't come at someone else's expense. If there's one thing she can't abide, it's someone who takes competition too far. Demon blood. Give out 1 demon blood to someone. Mentions a competition outside of the show you're on. Talks about conquest, or wins something, no matter how small.
Well, there you have Demon of the Hunt. Dingo, you want to tell us about Demon of Repugnancy?
Yes, I do. So, his true name is Bufonidae. He, him, his. Bufonidae, Bufo for short, takes the form of an amorphous slime, oozing and gurgling into constantly changing shapes. He loves to mimic the forms of amphibians when out for the night, but when he's relaxing, he loves to assume the form of whatever container he finds himself in. Bufo's slime body is slightly tacky to the touch and is technically classified as a non-Newtonian liquid, but he doesn't like labels. Bufo loves collecting. He has many different collections, and each one is more disgusting than the last. He's most proud of his collection of petrified toads, but his oldest collection is a cluster of haunted dolls that date back to the earliest European settlers on American soil. He also collects American soil. Bufo has a soft spot in his heart for shapes that people call ugly. The more reviled something's appearance, the more his heart is drawn to that thing. Exiled from his home plane of disgust, the uglier and kitschier the item, the more it reminds him of home. Beauty is for the beautiful, and Bufo doesn't care one whit about the beautiful. He actively challenges the idea that beauty is something that you can attain if you try hard, or that it's a reward for the morally just. Instead, he leans into ugliness with each form he assumes and delights in the joy of repugnancy. Each day is a challenge to outdo his last monstrous form, and each shiver of revulsion is a delightful reward for his efforts. Something of note, Bufo's ideas of the value of appearances are not shared by everyone, and he takes a self-righteous pride in his efforts. This can cause some ruffled feathers when he seeks out new partners, despite the strong connections he forms with his suitors. His first impressions leave much to be desired, and his pride in ugliness has the chance to turn folks off. That said, he's fiercely loyal to those close to him, which can carry its own baggage as well. And demon blood. Give out 1 demon blood whenever someone insults another person's looks, calls someone beautiful, or talks about their home.
Wonderful.
Love my gross
You
boy.
got a gross boy and a spiny girl.
Little nasty boy.
Oh, Chip, your options tonight. I can't wait till the real version is released and you get all options and more players. Oh, that's
And then we'll be able to figure out even more options for how to, try to date Chip.
we're gonna learn so much about Chip tonight, guys.
So much.
We're really gonna learn a lot. Okay, so we're gonna start. I think you zoom in on this studio audience that's sort of set up like a classic talk show kind of scene, and you see this demon come out very like androgynous looking, and they sit down in a chair, and everyone's applauding. The theme music is playing. The lights are the lights are shining down, and the host comes out and sits down and goes, "Welcome everyone to 13 Demon Princes. This is Hell's favorite dating show. I'm Algax.
Yeah.
No!
I couldn't resist. It's Demon of the Week.
Thank you.
Get out of here!
This is all
Chip-
Is
canon.
it too late to change our character?
No. Chip is just going to be like, what the fuck? I'm Algax, your host for this wonderful show. We're back for our 666th season. You keep us going strong, everyone, and the crowd goes wild again. Tonight we're going to bring on a very special guest who 2 lucky contestants will be competing for his affection. And everyone, please put your hands together for a very unfamiliar visitor to our plane, Mr. Chip Bryant. And she
Hesitant clapping.
puts her hands out, and you see Chip walking into this. What?
Just in the audience losing her mind.
There's this whole audience of demons and weird creatures and things like that, and like goblins and things like that, and then you have this mortal man, Chip, and she just the crowd is cheering as you walk out, Chip.
I have this vision of curtains opening, and Chip is just standing there, where did I? What? What? And then he walks confused across the stage, and he's just where am I?
Oh, have a seat, darling. You're on 13 Demon Princes. This is Hell's favorite dating show.
Oh, and he just sort of sits down and it's just he can't stop looking at the audience because he's too terrified to look away from the audience. And he's just did I fall asleep? Oh God, was I driving?
I'm not sure what you mean. You signed up to be on this dating show. We picked you from a pool of wonderful contestants. You should be lucky.
Is this? Oh, this is a dream. That's what's happening. Okay, in a nightmare. Sure, I can roll with that. Okay.
Well, it is a dream to find your true love, of course.
Sure. And he looks around and he's just oh my God, I shouldn't have binged The Bachelorette 2 weeks ago. This was a problem. Just.
As you come out and she's sit down. We're going to bring out our first contestant. Contestant number 1 is a pretty fit person, if I do say so myself. She loves activity. She loves competition, which is probably why she signed up to be here. If you will, please put your hands together for Demon of Hunt.
You see, how many heads do I have? Or mouths do I have? 14? Just bounding out from the other side of stage, leaping about 10 feet into the air before crashing into the ground. You can see some of the ground under their feet where they land fracture just a little, and they bound on over, and a grin breaks out on all of her mouths. It's nice to meet you.
Chip yelps and jumps behind his chair.
Don't. She's just very excitable, right? Have a seat, darling. Sit next to Chip.
Of course. And you see them sit down, and her legs are way too long for the chair. And it is very awkward, but she is sitting there and looking affectionately behind the chair where Chip is right now.
Algax leans over. Darling, no one can see you if you stay behind the chair. You need to come out.
Okay. Chip crawls into his seat and he's just doing the
And our next guest, contestant number 2, told us in their audition tape they have a very, very wonderful collection. And perhaps that's what they're looking for in a partner, Chip. Bring out contestant number 2.
Yeah, and from I think the same side of the stage, you see this little green blobs start like boo-doo, 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 boo-doo across the stage. And it's his two little goo arms are just up and like waving to the crowd. And he sort of like slimes up the chair and then gathers all of his goo body into the chair, and then it just kind of like into the chair.
God damn it.
Hello, everybody.
It's so wonderful to have you, contestant number 2. Thank you for agreeing to come on and, perhaps find your true love.
I hope so. He looks so ugly. You're hideous. I've never seen anything like you before.
She was just like, thank you. Thank you. Please don't eat me. Thank you.
Now let's get to know both of our contestants a little bit more before we take everyone on the fun that is a date. Contestant number 1. We know from your audition tape and the information you sent us ahead of time that you are a competitor at heart. What is your favorite thing that you've ever won?
I think the favorite thing that I've ever won is this game show in the future.
Ooh. And can you see the future?
Oh, wouldn't you like to know?
Oh, how does that make you feel, Chip? Someone who can see the future who might already be taking you home at the end of the night.
Chip looks over and he's just like, oh, is it possible to like change future outcomes? Oh no.
I'm not sure. Contestant number 2, what do you think? Do you think your fate is written in stone, or can you change the way that things end up?
Oh, well, I think everything can change. I can change, and he kind of like into like a little octopus and then back down into the chair.
Oh, that's very impressive.
Plus, how are you supposed to kiss someone with 14 mouths? That's too many.
Or is it just the right amount?
Nope, too many.
That does pose an interest. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Chip is just sitting in a seat. I'm gonna assume he has like his outfit on from season 1, and he's just sweating profusely, and he's just using his tie to like dab the sweat off.
Yes. Chip, that's a very interesting question. How many mouths are too many mouths for you?
Oh, I mean, I'm only used to the one, but if it, but he's looking over it. Because he's clearly more terrified of the hunt, right? He's looking over there, but he's like, but if more mouths is if I say more mouths is better, if I'm safer that way, then more mouths is great. It's totally good.
Oh, if you want more mouths, I guess I could make more mouths. And little puckered lips, like a bunch of them just start appearing all over.
You hear the crowd go like, ooh. Contestant number 2, we heard that you're very interested in collecting things, and I assume you don't collect mortals like Chip, although you do. If you do, that's your thing. No judgment here. What is the type of thing that you're interested in collecting?
Oh, well, I really like to collect ugly things. Really, just the more hideous, the better. I've got a really great collection of petrified toads in all kinds of sizes, itty bitty ones and really big ones. And one of them still croaks every once in a while. You just hear it kind of like that.
We heard that that's the kind of shape you like to take. Is that your inspiration?
Absolutely. I think we can learn a lot from frogs and their warts.
And their warts.
Yep.
Chip, what do you think about amphibians?
Oh, I studied amphibian biology in college quite a bit. It was good. Also, I have a niece who collects bugs, and I imagine from the audience you just hear Pippa go, "Woo!"
Yes, 100%.
So you know, I understand that like collecting is fun for some people. It's ugly things though. That's interesting.
Well, if I had to guess, if you collect anything, it would be ugly ties, seeing the one that you're wearing.
Chip looks at his tie covered in sweat. He's just like, oh, it does have a floral print, doesn't it? That was a mistake. He just sort of moves it down.
No, I think it's perfect.
Contestant number 1. Now, if we look at a contestant like number 2, what's something that you would change about contestant number 2 as long as you've known them in a short period of time? You seem to be the kind of athletic type, the kind who likes to be very active, which seems to be completely different than contestant number 2.
Well, you see, I've learned that there is more to life than just collecting. You need to go out and about and experience the world and really challenge everything that you know and challenge everyone you know, too.
That sounds hard.
Yes, contestant number 2, how do you feel about challenges?
I don't like them particularly. I've never won anything. I entered a beauty contest once and I got last place, but I guess that's kind of winning in my book.
Chip, darling, what do you feel about winning? Is that something that's important to you in a partner who strives to win, or do you just prefer complacency?
Well, you know, I just got out of a long-term relationship a little while back. Chip is starting to warm up to
You
this
just
scenario.
hear Pippa and all these ooh.
Is this how Pippa found out? This is how Pippa found the secret, everyone.
Wait, I just have to say, I love the implication that this is a dream that Chip is having and Pippa's in his mind watching it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That is literally the I love this. This is so good. Anyway,
This
continue.
is
I'm
prequel
sorry.
stuff tomorrow.
Yeah, this is
You
year
got a
break
very
stuff or
unique show.
5-month break stuff.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I just got out of a long-term relationship, and I guess you know she was very driven and very work-oriented and very athletic, and I mean, looking back on it, like I think maybe some of it was that I don't know, maybe I needed somebody to like take care of me, or that's what I was like, or that was like the thing I was falling into, you know? So I'm conscious of like I don't want to fall into that kind of situation again. I want to, you know, be an equal in the relationship, not just someone who's being, you know, subservient to the other person.
Oh, darling, if you date me, there is no way that you will have an easy time being an equal, but that is the fun of the challenge.
Oh, so what do you think of taking care of people, contestant number 1?
I think that taking care of them has its place as long as they're putting in equal effort.
Same question, contestant number 2. What do you think about taking care of others?
Well, I like to take good care of everything in my collection, so I'd say, yeah, it has a time and a place for things that can't take care of themselves, but, you know, you seem very capable with your 2 legs and your 2 arms and just the ridiculous amount of sweat that's coming off of you. So I think it would be pretty equal if you were to date me.
Contestant number 2, have you recently been in any long-term relationships? Do you have any experience to share with Chip?
I've never had a date in my life. That's why I'm here.
Oh, that's very interesting, Chip. Someone you can take out on their first date ever. Contestant number 2, what about you? What's your experience with relationships? Or contestant number 1, I'm sorry. Time goes on.
Well, I've been in several, but they just couldn't quite seem to keep up. They didn't want to put in the effort.
So effort's important to you.
Oh, absolutely. Because effort is what really shows who will win and lose in any competition.
Wonderful. I don't think Chip's going to have much problem, especially if the competition is sweating. He seems to be taking first place in that automatically.
Quite heroically, I might add. These lights are very hot.
Chip's like, my heart rate is very high, yes. Yeah.
Oh, darling, don't worry about it. It just means that everyone else here wants to eat you.
Oh.
Don't worry, they're not allowed to. Not until you leave the show. They can't eat the actual contestants. Don't worry.
I only sustain myself on clam juice, so I won't eat you, I promise.
Is that the smell, contestant number 2?
It sure is.
Now, since you all have gotten to know each other a little bit better, we're going to go straight into a wonderful date between all of you. Morningstar, Chip Bryant, you'll be picking where these wonderful contestants go, and you'll be able to have a little bit of alone time with them both, getting to know them. And this will be your first date. It is a group date, don't worry. You'll have a chance to be together alone later, but for right now, let's just enjoy some time together. And I think Algax snaps her fingers, and then you go automatically to where, like, the group date is. And that's up to the Morningstar. Where do you want them to have the date? Chip, it can be anywhere.
It can be anywhere.
Yeah.
Red Lobster.
Oh!
I was just thinking, where would Chip go?
An Earth Red Lobster or, like, a weird hell Red Lobster?
You know, I feel so. My first inclination is to say Earth Red Lobster, but I feel like Chip told the production crew Red Lobster, and because they're a demon production crew, they're like, "Oh yeah, a Hell Red Lobster, obviously." And take him to a Red Lobster in hell, and he is not prepared.
Okay, Lex,
Like
paint the scene.
Yeah, this is complete. It's your scene, Lex. As a Morningstar, you describe where the date is.
So, if it's a Red Lobster in hell. When was the last time I even went to a real Red Lobster?
I know,
right? There's the booths are very similar. So there's those booths with probably like the red cushions and everything on them. There's very similar tables. The wait staff are obviously demons of various kinds, but they're wearing the Red Lobster uniform that is like the human Red Lobster uniform. So it's like a demon with like 5 tentacles. Like 2 of them are coming out of each sleeve of the shirt. And the buffet, there's like a salad bar, and it's all these like horrible writhing things and like maggots and different kinds of insects and stuff. And there's all these huge, glass windows along the walls, and you can just see this hellish landscape of fire and brimstone. But the actual construction of the building itself looks like an Earth Red Lobster. And it's just all the food's super weird, and all the wait staff is super weird.
I love it. I think, and there's even like there's like an big lobster. I think the restaurant's actually in a lobster.
Ooh, yeah.
And so you have that really, it's already seafood smelly, but it's super, super, super seafood smelly because you're actually in a lobster.
Yes.
So yeah, she snaps her fingers, and you are all like in this round booth with Chip in the middle, and the 2 of you on the other side. And this is when Chip and the contestants have their fun and have your date. And you just see Algax over in the corner, like this scene goes in, and this is where we will witness the first date between our contestants and the Morningstar, and we'll see how they get along truly without my help. And it fades in on the 3 of you.
Oh, Red Lobster. An excellent choice. It's been forever since I've been able to literally been forced to chase my own seafood for dinner.
And Chip is just like, this is not what I asked for. It's like a horrible mockery of what I asked for. And
Oh, you haven't been to our Red Lobster?
he's at the menu. He's like, I just want to get the Walt's favorite mushroom bladder, and oh,
Oh, you can get that. And I point out the window and you see like giant shrimps jumping across the landscape.
yeah, and they're just like these like horrible like mutant abominations, and there's like demons with pitchforks trying to like corral them.
Contestant number 2, Dingo, I'm going to give you a demon blood streak for you to have an aside of how you feel about being taken to Red Lobster.
Well, I have to say that Chip has very good taste in terrible places, and I can get so much clam juice here. I'll be really, really powerful by the end of this. Artemis doesn't stand a chance on it.
Yeah, so when we zoom back in off of this aside, you threw
Bufo is chugging clam juice and also lounging in like an oyster shell, like a giant oyster shell. It's extremely good.
I like that I probably get like a lobster or something, and it's like this giant like horrible like writhing thing, like it's part dead so it can't run off your plate, but it's still like clawing at you.
Yeah, the front half is alive.
Yeah, or it's like someone has taken a pitchfork and stabbed it through it, so it's ankered to the plate, right?
Yes.
And it can't get away, but it's still alive.
Actually, as your platter is brought to you, that's what the waiter does, just stabs it to your plate.
Chip kind of looks back at the waiter, he's like, can I get an extra lemon wedge, please?
And the waiter just looks at you and goes, we're out of lemons, and turns around and walks off.
So wait, I'm sorry. Who am I supposed to be on a?
You're on a date with both of them. This is like your group date.
Oh, okay, so I'm on a date
It's
with
the
both
tricycle.
Yeah, you just get to know it. You get to know them.
So he turns to the hunt. What's Artemal? It's Artemal, right?
Yes, some call me that.
Do you yeah? So you could you I'm sorry to ask. This is terrible. Could you kill this real quick before so that I can eat it?
I'm not going to just kill it for you. I'll tell you how to, though.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I have I have weapons training. Yeah.
What is your most powerful weapon?
Chip like looks around and somehow just like in his on his belt is just this huge knife. He pulls it out. It's a dream sequence.
Yeah.
He pulls it out and he's just like, I remember training with this at Quantico. This exact okay. And he's just like, yeah, I can you know, I do some cooking from time to time. Usually I boil the lobsters, but I do know the technique to cut the heads off. I'm pretty sure, okay, this is bigger than I'm used to, but he sort of like tries to get up like over this thing on the plate and take his knife to like its neck, because I don't know if you guys have seen like on cooking shows, but there's a thing where you like cut into the like top of the head of the lobster, I think, and it like kills it immediately, so then you aren't boiling it alive. And he's like seen this he's like, I think I've seen this on Gordon Ramsay, I'm sure of it. And he just puts the knife down, and then he does like he hits it.
As you're going to do this, I'm gonna introduce a complication because I have to.
Yes.
As you're doing it, the writhing creature that they think is a lobster just looks at you with the saddest eyes of Pippa, Lex, and just goes, "Are you really going to eat me?" Just with this sad voice.
And Chip immediately stops and he's like, Pippa, are you in there? He grabs the face of the lobster, gets up really close to it.
And as you do that, you just feel the claws sort of like chomp down on your arms as you're grabbing the lobster.
Actually, I think that like my character probably would like be used to this technique that the lobsters use.
Oh yeah,
See
totally.
it coming and like snatch the claws right before they grab him.
Yeah, totally. So you like almost feel them snatch at you, Chip, but the hunt is able to like grab the claws before they can actually make purchase on your skin. But because you're so engrossed with this is Pippa.
Bufo's
The
gonna.
demon lobsters, they do that. Now, show me how well you wield that blade.
Oh, I thought it had the voice of my niece, but okay, sure. It's a demon trick, I guess.
Bufo, what were you doing?
Oh no, I want to see how this plays out.
Okay.
So Chip is gonna kill the lobster in the way he was originally trying to, but he's just crying.
Bufo's reaching up and with one part of his slime, like trying to dry Chip's tears, but it's just kind of smearing them and getting your face slimy. Just, it's okay, it's just a lobster. And with the other part of the slime, just go to sleep to the lobster.
In this moment, I want to have an aside with the hunt. How are you handling one, Chip crying, and two, Bufo lovingly rubbing away Chip's tears?
I understand that people's first incident with the demon lobsters can be a bit daunting. Mine wasn't, of course, but most people's is. But I didn't appreciate how Bufo interjected themselves into that situation.
All right, we're back at the day as Chip is calming down from this this traumatic event.
So he's eating lobster. He's like, well, it still tastes like lobster, and they've got plenty of butter, and that's really all you need. When I was,
you could call it butter.
wait, is this?
I can't
not?
believe it's not butter.
Oh no. He's like, he's saying kind of to both of you. He's like, I made this. So I've been visiting my my cousin a lot lately, and I've been trying out all these different soups, and I just made a lobster chowder, and it came out so well, so creamy, so perfect. I really love to cook. I think it's great.
Is that what you do for a job?
Oh no, I'm a government agent. It's mostly desk work, but I do have firearm training.
Oh, that is very interesting.
I work really well as ballistics gel.
Oh no!
There's so many golden moments in this episode already.
Oh no!
Oh, this is so good. Chip being the morning star was the perfect choice.
I also imagine that Chip just looks over at Bufo, and Bufo, who has probably also been eating, because you can see through them. All the bits of food are just floating around in their general abdomen area.
Mm-hmm. It's just like a sea of clam juice and then some little bits of demon lobster just sloshing around in there.
Sloshing around.
You want to hear it? And he kind of like jiggles back and forth. And you can hear this.
God no!
And Chip is just like, no, I don't know. That's fine. I don't. Oh, and he just sort of puts down. He's like, so, what do so Bufo, you like to collect things? And you like to collect frogs and stuff? What do you do? What else do you do for fun?
Oh, well, I watch a lot of movies, and well, I sometimes look in the mirror and cry. That's a good one. And sometimes I like to go for very long walks through the different planes of hell and just seeing what I can pick up with my body. Things just kind of stick to it, and sometimes I can add to my collection.
I'm going to use demon blood to have an aside.
Oh yes, please.
And it's just Chip like standing there, and he's like, so yeah, I mean, when I entered this show, I was terrified, but the more I was around here and I realized that it's just not real anyway, I kind of got into it. And man, when Bufo said like sometimes he looks into a mirror and cries, like I am sorry to say that I could relate a little too much to that. Because I've had some rough days.
Oh no.
And Bufo goes on. He goes, and sometimes I like to go to Dave and Buster's and go underneath the machines, and I can get a bunch of coins that people have dropped.
Chip is like, oh my god, I do that too. Yes, because you just gotta. Okay, for you, I'm sure it's much easier because you can just, slosh under there. But I have very skinny arms, and he like rolls up his sleeve, and he's
they're so slender.
and I can just reach out and get all those coins, and then get all those games and all those free tickets.
Yeah, and you get all dusty, which is half of the fun.
You can see the Hunt just rolling her eyes.
72 eyes.
Bufo like leans behind Chip and like sticks out his goo tongue like.
But Artemal, so you're very active and you're very athletic. For work, when I was training to be an agent, like we had to run 3 miles with like full gear and everything, and there's all sorts of train exercises, marksmanship, handling, hand-to-hand combat, all sorts of stuff like that. Do you is there anything particularly that you're more interested in terms of that kind of athletics, that kind of stuff?
Well, you mentioned hand-to-hand combat, but most of what I do isn't as much combat as it is being the hunter. When it gets to the hand-to-hand combat, there is few who rival me, but the hunt is where I have the most fun.
I want to have an aside with Bufo as they're having this conversation about hunting and how that affects you, Bufo.
Well, I think I have a really good lead on Artemal right now because nobody likes to go hunting. It's not very fun. You get something, you can't even, by the time you're done, it's destroyed. You can't even collect it. And it seemed like Chip and I really had a moment together. And I think that's going to be really hard to beat.
As we zoom back in on the restaurant, at this moment, Algax comes back to the table. Well, I hope that you enjoyed your dinner. Chip, darling, if you will, you'll come with us. We're going to have a little conversation for the audience and leave these two to also get to know each other.
Oh, sure, yeah. Excuse me. And because it's one circular booth, he's sort of moving around. I don't. Which one is he going to try and move around? Hold on.
Either one is
the table.
Yeah, go under the table because this is a mess.
Yeah, so he tries to move around Artemal, and it's just too many spines, and he's like, no, nope. And then he tries to move around Bufo, and he starts getting real slimy, and he's like, no, and then he just crawls under the table.
There's so much gum under there.
It's like it is literally hell underneath there. There's so much gum. Yeah, Algax helps you up and takes you away, and this is when, as they're having a conversation, the two contestants get a couple of moments to get to know each other, bring things up, and have a moment alone for themselves.
So what kind of things have you hunted?
Well, mostly people who are hunting game illegally.
Okay, I could see how that's pretty good.
They think they're in it for sport, but the real sport is for me. How about you? What other items do you collect?
Toenails. The little weird part of humans, the eyelids. I didn't really understand where those came from until I looked at Chip, and now I totally understand those little freaky bits above his eyes.
Yes, I'm not exactly sure why they were designed with the need to blink. How are they supposed to keep on the watch for predators?
I don't know. It seems like it really seems like his entire body is a really poor design, but that's what I kind of like about it.
He tries so hard for being so soft.
That's just Chip.
Well, not as soft as me, and I think that's why I'm gonna win for sure. So you can just go home now.
Yes, but on the other hand, you don't try as hard.
I tried really hard. This is the hardest I've tried at anything.
Well, if it is the hardest you've tried at anything, then I'm sure you will be a worthy opponent.
You're right, I'll be a worthy opponent. Where do you even come from, anyway?
England. I try not to let my accent show, though.
Well, why not?
It's not my favorite attribute.
What is your favorite attribute?
See these mouths?
It's too many.
Says the one capable of infinite mouths.
Well, yeah, but technically I don't even need any mouths.
I mean,
I could just open up just a big old hole in my body and just dump as much as I want in there.
I mean, it's not about the number of mouths, it's about the volume they can contain.
Okay, be honest. Would you eat Chip?
I would not. He seems like he is a very nice person who just needs to put in a little more effort into getting what he wants.
Yeah, I could see that. Or he could not put in any effort and he and I can just go on walks together or go to the Dave and Buster's.
I mean, if you're going to Dave and Buster's not on a date, you better invite me.
I guess we could all go together at some point, though, depending on who wins. That might be really weird because if I don't win, I will cry.
And that would... Losing is never fun. And I might do the same if I lose. It's never a fun experience, but knowing that you tried your hardest must be some consolation, right?
I mean, I guess. Yeah, you make a really good point. I guess it's not so bad competing against you, even with all the mouths.
It's not so bad competing against you, even with your one enormous mouth.
At this point, Algax brings Chip back over. And closely following behind them is this waiter pushing this cart with this huge cake on it. Well, I hope the three of you enjoy the end of your date. We have a complimentary lava cake, if you may. And it's actual lava that's flowing out of this cake, sort of onto the table, as the demon picks it up and puts it on the table for all of you. And, yeah, that's where we end this part of the date.
Wait, can I just say
Oh,
real
yes, of
quick?
course.
Chips eat that cake. He
Yes.
just looks at them and he's like, "Oh, I don't like spicy food."
So we come back to the same setting that we started in like the studio and such, and the three of you are sitting there, and the audience is clapping and having applause as the music dies down. And so this is the part of the game where the Morningstar and the contestant get to, it's the afterwards of their private separate dates together, their solo dates. So you get to sort of improv telling about what happened on your date, where you went, things like that. So the Morningstar says, welcome back everyone to our third episode of 13 Demon Princes. We would like to take this time to get to know what happened when we left our contestants and our wonderful Morningstar alone. Just the two of them. Contestant number 1, the two of you went on a rather fun date, I would say. How about you tell us about it? We'll start with you. Where did you take the Morningstar for your private date?
Well, that's simple. We went to England, specifically the town of Hampshire, because I can't think of any English town.
It works.
I have a cottage about 2 miles in the woods, and a little bird told me that there would be some illegal activity happening. And so I decided it would be fun to see if his training really did pay off in the field.
And how did that go, Chip?
Well, at first I was hesitant, but the countryside was just gorgeous. And I have zero tolerance for people who are going to break basic hunting laws, okay? So we went after them, and I gotta say it was kind of a thrill. And I think we did a lot of justice until the end. The end, it got a little gruesome. I blocked out the end.
The end was it was a little hazy.
Well, no, we have video footage of the end.
Yes, I was meaning for him, of course. I recall it perfectly.
If I'm not mistaken, what we saw was you sort of went to town on those hunters.
I mean, yes.
There was blood and gore and intestines everywhere. How did that make you feel, Chip?
I was just trying to arrest them. Are
you even legal in England? Is that your territory?
Well, I guess not, which Artable reminded me of. I still didn't know if it was right to disembowel them, but I was...
I'm sure that Artable will tell you that sometimes a disembowelment is for the best.
It definitely is. But while the disembowelment was quite fun, the best part of the date definitely was seeing Chip's very fast reaction times. There was one instance when, because we were moving quietly through the forest stalking our prey, a deer had happened upon us because it was upwind of us, and it stepped on a tree branch nearby. And the speed at which he pulled that grenade launcher on it was incredible to watch. If it hadn't been for my reaction times, it definitely would not be a deer any longer.
Chip is just like, oh, thank God, yeah, you saved me, you saved that sweet baby. But yeah, I've sometimes I'm a little jumpy, but I have a lot of firearms training.
Yes, we have evidence to say that it runs in your family. Actually,
no,
we have video footage from things that you've done in your life as well, Chip. And I think you see the scene of Addie firing the grenade launcher.
I was honestly expecting it to cut away also to and here's your pistol. He hands it to Pippa. What do you have there? A gun! No!
I'm waiting for that gun to come out.
No.
Anyone who doesn't watch Monster of the Week is going to be so lost if they watch this.
I mean, if you're confused as to what we're talking about here, there's only there's only 15 hours of content or something.
You're good. Anyway, Algax looks at you, Chip, and goes, well, overall, did you enjoy yourself? Is this the kind of experience that you would like to have again, perhaps?
I think that there was a lot of it's good to get out and be active. And I think, like I was saying, like since my last breakup, like I haven't been working out as much, and getting that adrenaline again was really good. And stopping lawbreakers also a good thing. So if I don't, and he sort of he goes to put his hand on the Hunt's like shoulder or something, but then he's like, no, it's too spiny, I'm not gonna do it.
I imagine that like the Hunt also has like control of their spines, and they like sort of fold down sometimes as well.
But he's like, listen, I don't want to change you. I would never want to change my partner, but I'm just saying, like, maybe if we can work on the extreme aggression, just dial it back to like regular aggression.
Ooh, you already have someone who's interested in changing you. We'll get back to that in a bit. The Hunt. Let's go over to contestant number 2. Where did you take Chip on your date?
Well, our date wasn't as maybe quite as exciting as it sounds like the Hunt's was, but we went to the second level. I took Chip to the second level of hell, where it's just one big Doobie Brothers concert all the time.
That's so bad.
Oh my gosh. Dingo, you cheater.
Cheater, you're pandering. Also, how dare you say the Doobie Brothers are in hell?
Yeah.
Come on.
Dingo.
All right, I was joking. It was just a regular Doobie Brothers concert. But it was really fun. We listened to a lot of music, I guess, and seemed like Chip had a really good time, and I got to a new collection. I just rolled around and I collected a bunch of I think it's called the Good Kush.
Chip, is that something that you partake in?
Oh no, not me. No, ma'am, sir, no.
I think Chip might have gotten a bit of a contact high, but that's okay. He seemed like he was having a really good time.
The whole place just smelled like patchouli oil, and I could figure it out. But no, it was great. They played minute by minute in its entirety. Whew.
I heard
Really?
they played it on a loop. That's the footage that we have. It's just sort of you standing there, very happy, Chip, and then Bufo sort of just crowd surfing.
Yeah, some people thought I was a drug, so I'm a little bit smaller than I was before. But I got a lot of lighters to hold up, and we definitely at some point in the concert held up the lighters, like humans do, I guess. It was cool.
I'm going to use my demon blood to have an aside.
Of course.
And I think it's going to be like after a little clip of, Chip sort of like calmly smiling to himself during this concert, very like happy. It's just, I'm not used to that expression. It's a happy that isn't filled with adrenaline, and I'm not sure I've experienced that. But it seems that maybe Chip could teach me more than I thought.
As we come back, Algax looks at you, contestant number 2, and says, now, if you had to relate any Doobie Brothers song to Chip and yours, building relationship, what song would you pick?
Well, I don't know any of the songs, to be honest. I just Googled Chip Bryant, FBI, and a lot of playlists of the Doobie Brothers. Also, I Googled him. Get it? Flails a little bit.
Did I earn a demon blood from you for mentioning hometown stuff?
Oh, you didn't, but you should.
Okay, then I want another aside, and I just like flat out say that was the best pun I heard in my entire life.
Chip is saying they're like, I don't get it.
She looks back at you, Chip, and she goes, "Now, how do you feel about someone who doesn't exactly share your musical tastes? Is it enough that they went out of their way to make you happy?"
Oh no, I think that's really what counts because it's not when you're in a relationship with someone, you're not going to like 100% of the things that they like, but it's about being able to find the things that you do have in common and being able to, sort of tolerate the stuff that your partner likes. And hey, if Bufo was like cool to take me to a concert that they're not even like a super big fan of just because they thought that was something I wanted to see, like I really appreciate that.
Well, it sounds like the both of you had very interesting days. Contestant number 1, the both of you and the Morningstar were able to get up to some very interesting vigilante justice, if I do say so myself. Probably a bit tasty, actually. Didn't have to worry about dinner and a show. It was all right there. Contestant number 2, you on the other hand, had more of a low-key kind of date. You got to listen to some music. Chip probably got to experience something he's never experienced before, drugs. And
Chip just nods.
Secretly, Chip did drugs back in the day, just like Bird Dad.
And the two of you seem to have a great time as well. When we return after these commercial breaks, which, as you know, last a millennium, we have to help our sponsors out, Chip will be making his final decision about which of these lovely contestants he would like to spend the rest of his life with. And as we all know, it'll be a very short time for Chip, so the contestants will move on very quickly, no matter what. We'll be right back. And the audience cheers, and as we come
Pippa's doing the whistle.
Yeah.
Pippa's loving it.
Pippa loves this. This is the best dream she's ever been in. So as we come back, this is the final decision. So you see Algax is like standing beside Chip. It's in like this scene where sort of like The Bachelor, like Chip and the host are on this like podium kind of area, and the two of you are down. Chip, you've had such wonderful time with these two contestants that you've been able to meet. Now, we'd like to give them just one chance to speak their piece and have their final pleas about why you should choose them. Contestant number 1, if you'd like to go first.
I think that we both can learn a lot from each other. I think you enjoyed and got into a different sort of mindset than when I saw you originally when we were together, but I think that there are parts of you that I haven't seen yet, as evidenced by the footage of the other date, that I'm interested to learn about, and I hope that we will be able to grow from each other as well as push each other beyond what we are currently.
Contestant number 2, what are your final words for Chip?
Well, Chip, I would just like to point out that I'm really soft and gooey and really easy to love. And I think you're pretty soft and easy to love too. And I hope that maybe sometime we could go to Dave & Buster's and get all the coins. And I'll even let you win at a lot of the games because I'm not very good at them. Maybe we could play House of the Dead and you could show me how to shoot a gun. That would be fun. Anyway, I just really think you should choose me.
And Algax turns to Chip. Well, Chip, FBI agent Chip Bryant, our first mortal contestant, I'd like to add. Have you made your decision about which of these lovely contestants that you would like to spend the rest of your mortal life with?
And so Chip's just like, I mean, they're both great. Artemal scares me sometimes, but also really challenges me in I think good ways. I think going in, I was really worried that she was I was going to fall into a situation where she would just be the dominant person in the relationship, and I would just be sort of along for the ride, as it were. But it really did seem like she was more interested in challenging me, and that was good. And I think it's really important to have that in a relationship. And Bufo, I mean, Bufo is just is really easygoing. Is really like it's really easy to let my guard down around them, and I'm not being afraid of being sucked into them or anything, which has surprised me. It's one of those things where you worry that they'd be a partner that's not gonna, like, sort of challenge you to be the best that you can be as a person, right? Because there might be too much complacency there, and I'm worried about that. So it's really a tough call.
But we've also never had anyone take this long to make a decision.
But I think I'm going to go with... I'm going to roll a die right now because I don't know.
Hold on! I took you to the
No.
and you're leaving it to a die?
Yep.
They're both very good. Listen, did you hear what Chip just said?
That was from his heart.
That was from his heart. So Lex is saying that he's gonna have to roll a die right now.
This is terrible, man. We're gonna have to play again.
He's like, I'm gonna have to go with Artemal.
Bufo burst into tears.
And Chip's like, no, Bufo, I'm so sorry. We could still be friends.
Brothers for you.
Well, there you go, audience. Lovely viewers at home and here in the studio. Chip Bryant has made his choice, and he has chose the demon of the hunt, Artemal.
I think that, you sort of get like a hold on for a second finger, and Artemal sort of just like bends down and like does their best to hug the crying slime next to them.
Yeah, Bufo, like, with his tiny slime arms, is like, I'm okay. And just off the stage with like tears trailing behind him.
Can I also say that in the audience, Pippa is just like, it's like, you should have gone with the slime.
Yeah, Pippa's like, are you kidding me?
Well, audience, thank you for tuning in, and hopefully we'll have an update on our next episode of what Artemal and Chip do for the rest of Chip's life. Thank you, and have a wonderful evening.
I think Chip wakes up at this point.
Wait, hold on. There's one last thing I want to do before I wake up. Is as the studio lights are going down and everyone's like turning to go off the stage or whatever, Chip is going to be like, it was Algax, right?
Yes, it's my name.
Oh, it was so nice to meet you. You were so nice and like relatively normal looking. I really not what I was expecting from the host of a demon dating show. But it was so nice meeting you.
I know, people always get the wrong impression of me.
I hate this.
Yeah, so that's the end, and we have a little debrief. Since we aren't actually in person, we can't burn our character sheets, which is a great idea, and I recommend it. But it's a chance for us to make any comments about what we enjoyed or didn't, and how the differences in your characters and things like that. But mostly to thank you guys for being fucking goofs.
Okay, you realize this entire thing was built so Dingo and I could both go after Lex.
100%. We're gonna take a.
And to be fair, it's not fair that the hunt won against Vor.
Chip's only a little into Vor, right? Just a little bit.
Be honest now, Chip.
Pippa
It's
knows.
Chip and Devore.
Pippa knows.
Pippa doesn't know. Pippa doesn't want to know. Pippa
Should
is too
know.
young to know.
Yes.
I think that this just betrays that Chip is just into strong women.
That is
And
true.
That's his thing. That's his MO.
Okay, we're gonna
But
take.
what about women that can vor him?
Oh, dear
or guys
God.
that can vor
We're
him?
taking a break. We're not talking about this. We're taking a quick 5-10 minute break. We'll be right back. No more
Okay.
more. everybody. We're back, and I'm eating bread. Sorry, I'm alive while eating.
I'm eating nuts.
Dingo almost died to get the nut.
How
And
dare
we're
you?
back, as always. As you can tell.
So we decided that I'm gonna play the Morning Star because I haven't played the Morning Star yet. David's going to be the host, and Lex and Dingo are gonna be contestants.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry you got the short end of the stick, Dingy.
No, it's fine.
Okay, Dave, if you want to take it away.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Hell's favorite dating show. And you see just this like tall goat-headed man walk out, and about 8 feet tall with the rectangular eyes. Hello, everybody. It's time to meet your morning star. The curtain will reveal the player, and they will have. I'm very good at talking, everybody. And they will end up having their heart competed for by our lovely demon princes. Introducing this season's morning star, it's...
So I think you see as the curtain reveals, you see what is sort of like this like shadowed form that is just humanoid and is literally like shining bright
Ooh.
like a star.
Ooh.
And as they walk closer in, they are like, do you know the prince from Monster Prom? The interdimensional prince?
Yes.
That is literally what this creature looks like. It's like their shadow melds into like this multicolored, long purple hair. But then you realize, like, as you look closer, you sort of see like these demonic faces begin to show up every time they like turn. Like every angle is a different demonic face on their head. It's like a couple of different faces.
And as you can see, our morning star is none other than the demon of illusions, trickery, and beguilement. From the crown jewel of the 13th layer itself, it's...
I don't have a name. I'm just the morning star. I didn't think
Okay.
that far ahead, Dave.
John.
Kevin!
Kevin.
Kevin's
Bong
back!
Reed.
Actually,
Kevin.
his name is Chad.
Okay. So, Chad, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? What do you do for your day job?
Well, as you know, I don't really have a day job. I spend all my time searching for eligible bachelors and bachelorettes through all the layers of hell, just reminding them how lucky they should be to have me chasing after them.
I mean, that is a very understandable and very noteworthy goal. So, what are you hoping to find today?
Just someone who worships me.
I mean, if they're not worshiping you, then they're doing other things with their time. And frankly, that means it's not worth it. Am I right?
It's not. No one's time is worth more than worshipping me or being spent on me, rubbing my many feet,
I mean,
my many toes.
many, many toes. But, unfortunately, we can't spend all day talking about you without introducing more people to talk about you. So, why don't we meet our contestants? Contestant number 1, Lex.
So I'm playing Bufo this time because I felt like playing Repugnancy. So yeah, you just see this this weird slime creature just sort of casually like shuffling, sloshing out across the stage. It's wearing a pair of aviator sunglasses that kind of float on it. It's like, hey, everybody. Name's Bufo. And he sort of like slides into the seat and like slouches down real low. And he's like, what's happening? And he gives like a weird nod with his almost head to Morningstar.
As you can see, we have one very interesting contestant already. But before we really get to know each other, we need to have everyone at the table. So introducing contestant number 2.
Yeah, and I'm going to be playing Salt, or the
So why
Demon
don't
of
you-
Scorn.
Why don't you read that for us?
Okay. So, the Demon of Scorn. True name, Salt. They, them, theirs. Revenge is a dish best served cold, but Salt knows a dozen other ways to cook it. You should try their revenge fricasse?
Fricassee.
Fricassee. What kind of word is
Lex
that?
wrote a cookbook, everybody.
Lex is amazing, everybody.
Lex, can you explain to me in detail what a fricassee is?
I'm sorry, it's not my turn.
Their oyster's revenge, or even their revenge hot dish, if you're feeling ready for some home cooking. Salt knows when revenge is the juiciest and wields the ladle of spite with a master's hand. They take their name from their most notable feature, a massive crystal of halite that towers over everything else in the plane of anger. Though they may be nearly immobile, Salt can project their consciousness into any set of sodium chloride molecules, from a pink salt lamp to a shaker of table salt to aqueous salt in a bead of sweat. By day, they manage a kitchen in northeast Minneapolis, Minnesota, where they delight in creating new hot dish recipes. The secret, they say, is love. The real secret, that they would never tell anyone, is crystallized scorn. By night, they belong to a historical combat association as a respected prop manufacturer. Just like their cooking, their prop weaponry is composed of pure spite. Forged in a homemade crucible in their backyard, these blunted swords and battle axes are playful mock-ups of the hellish weapons they used to smith millennia ago during the War for Heaven. Despite their prickly appearance, job, and hobby, Salt is a surprisingly compassionate demon. They can't feel the spite they use to flavor their dishes or comprise of the hilt of an axe. It is not theirs to feel. Instead, they harvest the spite from their friends, pulling it from their hearts in calming chats over internet forums or soaking it up through osmosis from the patrons of their restaurant. So, something of note, Salt is constantly concerned that their scorn harvesting might spill over onto those close to them. Their inability to feel spite does not transfer over to those close to them, and their physical body resides on the plane of anger. As such, they keep folks at arm's length, using distance to avoid confronting their demonic nature. Any potential suitor will have to be adept at navigating spite in their own lives to avoid absorbing any of Salt's salt. And I give out 1 demon blood anytime someone complains, points out an unfair system, or comforts another person.
Lex, did you want to read your playbook?
Yeah, I can do that. Let's see here. Is just the things that I give out, the something of note stuff.
You can read the whole thing if you want.
Okay, just because we had it last time, I wasn't sure if you wanted to, but I certainly can. So repugnancy. How's it pronounced? Buffonde?
I said Buffonidae?
I
Buffonade.
think Matthias pronounced it right for us. It was Buffonidae. Yeah.
Buffonidae. Buffonidae, Bufo for short, takes the form of an amphibious slime, oozing and gurgling into constantly changing shapes. He loves to mimic the forms of amphibians when out for the night, but when he's relaxing, he loves to assume the form of whatever container he finds himself in. Bufo's slime is slightly tacky to the touch and is technically classified as a non-Newtonian liquid, but he doesn't like labels. Bufo loves collecting. He has many different collections, and each one is more disgusting than the last. He's most proud of his collection of petrified toads, but his oldest collection is a cluster of haunted dolls that date back to the earliest European settlers on American soil. He also collects American soil. Bufo has a soft spot in his heart for shapes that people call ugly. The more reviled something's appearance, the more his heart is drawn to that thing. Exiled from his home plane of disgust, the uglier and kitschier the item, the more it reminds him of home. Beauty is for the beautiful, and Bufo doesn't care one whit about the beautiful. He actively challenges the idea that beauty is something you can attain if you try hard, or that it's a reward for the morally just. Instead, he leans into ugliness with each form he assumes and delights in the joy of repugnancy. Each day is a challenge to outdo the last monstrous form, and each shiver of revulsion is a delightful reward for his efforts. Something of note, Bufo's ideas of the value of appearances are not shared by everyone, and he takes a self-righteous pride in his efforts. This can cause some ruffled feathers when he seeks out new partners, despite the strong connections he forms with his suitors. His first impressions leave much to be desired, and his pride in ugliness has the chance to turn folks off. That said, he's fiercely loyal to those close to him, which can carry its own baggage as well. Let's see. So I give out one demon blood whenever someone insults another person's looks, calls someone beautiful, talks about their home.
Nice.
So, Morningstar.
Wait, we didn't get a description of what Salt looks like.
That is a good point.
Yeah, I want to know what you do with this.
So Salt comes out, and they look like they look like a human man because they look exactly like Will Willis.
From fucking Fortune Fire, I hate you so much.
Who is also known as the host of Forged in Fire.
God, we've been binging this show too much. It's taking over our lives and our games.
They come
his
out
huge ears.
They've got their hands looped in their belt loops, and they sit down perched on the edge of the chair. And they give a slight nod.
Oh, fuck me, I hate it.
So, Morningstar, you must have some questions for your suitors here.
I think that my first question, I don't know what that voice was.
But I love it.
My throat constricted. I think that my first question has to go to contestant number 1. Are you made of anything exactly?
Oof, all me. It's just all me. Just made out some gross gooey goodness, and then he belches out of like the side of his form.
I'm not sure if that's attractive or unattractive. We'll see later.
Depends on what you're into, I suppose.
That is very true. And you know what? I've went after grosser, so, you know, more
Haven't
power
we
to
all?
you.
This is hell after all.
Exactly. You're right. Contestant number 2, I guess my question for you is, you look so normal. I mean, you know, with our standards, it's very interesting to see someone who looks like you. What's going on here?
Well, I like to be approachable. And I think this is the most approachable form. It's really the ears that make it the most soothing for people. My normal form is way too big to fit anywhere. I'm mostly a huge rock.
So, as a huge rock, is there any specific type of music that's your favorite?
Are you trying to make a joke?
Of course.
I don't do jokes.
See, that isn't fun for me. Moving on to contestant number 1.
Wait, can I have an aside right now?
Yeah, sure.
You start
Do
with a
it.
point, right?
Just fucking do it.
It comes to me and I'm just like, it's like, oh man, Salt is just harshing my mellow so hard. Like,
I'm gonna give you a demon blood for complaining.
What about you, contestant number 1? What do you think about your sense of humor?
You know, I like to hang out, just go with the flow, and his body just kind of ripples a little bit. It's like go with the flow and just, you know, have a few laughs, take a few tokes, have a few brews.
So, Morning
The
Star.
comedy just makes itself, man.
That's a very laissez-faire way of dealing with humor, but I can appreciate it. Morning Star, what are your thoughts on this?
I mean, I tend to like someone who can make me laugh. You know, it's a lot of energy being me. You know, just being as wonderful as I am, and sometimes you just need to kick back with a good laugh. You know, do you not have a favorite joke at all, contestant number 2?
Most areas of my life are not a joke. They're very serious. But I do like to relax with a single IPA.
Just fucking being Will.
So, if a single IPA is your preferred form of relaxing, I wonder what that says about you, contestant number 1.
Oh man, I mean, I don't discriminate against any alcoholic beverages, but Pabst Blue Ribbon never done me wrong. I'll tell you. Oh, I got a joke for you. So, why did the chicken cross? What was it? Oh
lava
no, I
stream?
forgot.
Was it the lava stream?
Yeah, no, that was probably it, man. And then like some sort of petrified dreadlock just sort of falls out of.
Holy shit! Oh my god.
Well, to reach the other side, obviously.
Usually that's not why they do it, but I can see how someone who is as goal-oriented as you might go to that conclusion. So tell me, contestant number 2, what are some of the aspirations that you have in life?
Well, I aspire to have the greatest show on television, but it's slow going. And I also aspire to make the universe's biggest axe.
So you're into big axes then?
I'm into huge axes.
That is understandable. So, Morningstar, do you believe you have any axes to grind with this?
I don't.
Was that another joke?
You're laughing. You know, I'm not really a grinder per se. I don't like to do the work. I like for the work to be done for me.
Well, I'm excellent at
understandable.
doing
So
the
you prefer to be far more aspirational. Your goals are more high and lofty, which brings us back to contestant number 1. What are your dreams in life?
Oh man, I just like to maybe get a nice little place in the mountains and just have room for all my collections there. Sort of be able to spread out just through the whole house, my body, just spread it all out. And then every once in a while, like going down to town and just trying to I don't know, induce as much vomit out of the local populace as I can. That's it's the simple things, man.
It really is. And speaking of simple things, one of the things I believe our Morningstar mentioned was foot massages. Imagine how unique it must feel to walk through an entire house whose bottom layer is covered with slime.
Yeah, how far do you reach out, contestant number 1? Do you have a limit?
Oh well, sometimes a couple times I've tried. I've been able to go half a football field, but
Really impressive.
I'm working on it.
Very big. My whole goal here is to annoy Katie, just so everyone is clear.
It's not annoying. I'm just, oh God, I need to ask for repentance tonight.
So, contestant 2, what's a simple pleasure that you can bring to our Morning Star?
A simple pleasure. Well, there's nothing quite like the feeling of a nice foot scrub. And I have quite a bit of salt to share. And I think that, with my big, powerful human hands, I can really get into the crevices, deep into, how many toes did you say it was?
Oh, there's a 14 on each foot.
Into all of those 14 toes on each foot.
I mean, that is understandable. If you have human hands like that, you might as well put them to good use.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, I mean, the rest of us have to deal with amorphous blobs, hooves, and the shadows that are constantly wreathed around you, Morningstar.
Oh yeah, but they're the best shadows.
I mean, I can't lie. That is true. But I believe it is now time for a group date with you. And I think that the Morningstar already had a place set aside for you to all travel and maybe get to know each other just a little bit more. Off and away you go.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I should have been thinking about this, shouldn't I? I knew this was coming up. I think they take you to a theme park. But it's full 36-story roller coasters. They're things like those roller coasters, made to euthanize you. It's those kind of roller coasters.
Yeah.
It's that kind of thing. And there's teacups that instead of Disney teacups spinning, it's really, 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 really fast. People are walking off vomiting or totally sick, but it's all demon people, so they love it. This is their kind of thing. Yeah, I think that you see them. The Morningstar has a corn dog in one hand, and a thing of popcorn in the other, and they're walking looking at both of you. So I hope you enjoy amusement parks. I haven't been to one in a long time, but I thought this would be some good fun.
I believe it's called Hell's Landing.
I love it.
Well, I can really enjoy a roller coaster, but the corn dogs leave something to be desired.
Dingo, who are you?
No, this is not Dingo at all.
I'm in character. Excuse me. Not all of my characters love corn dogs.
Seems suspicious.
Yeah, seems fake.
I think,
Dude, if you're not gonna eat yours, I'll totally have it.
No, this one's mine. I will just find perhaps an aioli to dip it in.
Oh, you mean
Uh,
mayonnaise?
aside with contestant number 1, what did you think about them pulling that away?
I don't know. Why am I so unprepared for this question? So like Salt is just, I mean, just lives up to their name, dude. They are salty, which, like, man, I'd like to give them a lick every once in a while. But
Awkward laugh track.
but not giving me that corn dog was not cool, because you can't just, like, if you just throw food away, I'm just gonna find it in the trash, and actually then it'll probably be even better. So I hope they throw that corn dog away and I see where they throw it.
Okay, cut back.
I think you mean just mayonnaise. Isn't aioli just a fancy word for mayo? It's just eggs and oil,
Yes.
right?
Fancy mayonnaise, which makes it a better mayonnaise, just like fancy people are better people.
All right. I mean, I can't argue with you. I do enjoy being very fancy, and as we all know, I'm better than both of you and everyone else here. So I really do agree with you there.
One thing, like, better than everyone else here, and then, like, the narrator voice, except for me.
Should I give you some demon blood for insulting other people?
Oh yeah, you can.
Yeah.
I think like they walk up to like this big roller coaster. It's like, so do either of you have a favorite amusement park ride? I personally like the teacups, and the line is like 3 days long, and I don't really feel like waiting though.
Oh, you ever been in that big, like, spinning cylinder that, like, you strap into it and then it, like, goes up in the air and just spins around and moves all over the place? It gets you real dizzy. Oh, I'm into that.
How do they strap you in?
Well, I mean, I usually go all over the place, but
Oh, okay.
that's part of the fun, you know?
I'm a little jealous.
Does it make you like cotton candy in a cotton candy machine?
It's like going through a blender, kind of, and all the stuff that I carry around inside me just flies all over the place.
It's a cleanse.
What about you, Salt?
Personally, I like the roller coaster that just it's one big climb and then it dips down. You know, the one where it just dips down and then flings you off into oblivion.
That one is good. It takes a while to get back from oblivion, but it is a fun ride getting there.
It's completely worth it.
It really is. It really is. So what do the both of you like to do in your free time besides go on dating shows? You know, I know what you said on front of the host, but there has to be more than just making big axes or stretching out your whole house. I mean, what is in it for me? I don't want to make a big axe, and I definitely don't want to be stretched out through someone's house. What do you have to offer me?
I have but the finest in the culinary world to offer you. I can make just about anything your heart desires with the right amount of salt.
What about you, Bufo?
Oh, well, you know, so I like to travel to, especially to like rainforests and stuff, because I have the best frog collection ever. And you know, just finding weird stuff, you know, and just like putting it inside me, saving it for later. Sometimes I find those real special frogs, give them a good lick. Oh, you know how it is.
Do you-
real
do you
good
have-
mellow
do
time.
you have-
Aside with contestant 2 about what they think about that.
That's incredibly irresponsible, although I am looking for a new source for frog legs, so this might be a good deal for me.
Do you have any of those frogs with you?
Oh, totally. He just reaches inside of himself and just pulls out one.
No!
And he's like, I can't remember if it's the red ones with green spots that are good to lick or the green ones with red spots that are good to lick. But here, give it a try. And he just extends out his pseudopod, holding this slime-covered, petrified Brazilian tree frog.
Katie, roll a die for me.
What?
Roll a die for me.
Which one?
A d6.
Dave, come on. This isn't even the real game anymore.
We're going off book.
This is off-road, off-book, no rules, just right. I rolled a 6.
Okay. It is a very as soon as you touch it, as soon as it makes contact with your skin, it influences you way more directly than it influences Bufo. And it is a powerful hallucinogen.
Oh, I love it. I think that they start to see, like, colors and, like, shapes that come out and, like, hear laughter and stuff, and they're just like, oh, you're right. This is quite wonderful.
Right on.
Would you like to try some of this, Salt? I mean, I think it would be worth your while. You need to loosen up just a little bit.
Come on, Salt, ride the frog.
Come on, Salt, ride the frog.
I suppose it wouldn't hurt to try new things. And he takes they take the frog from the Morning Star. Just give it a little lick. And then toss it back into Bufo.
Just sinks into him.
You also have a powerful hallucinogenic effect, but it is not as immediate or strong as the one experienced by the Morning Star.
Mm.
How do you feel?
I feel fine, I guess.
Like fine.
You did
or
not
like
feel fine.
fine.
I feel a little sick. But I also feel like if I really wanted to, I could disassemble that entire roller coaster and create just the most obscene weapon with it.
Well, if you're gonna spew into me.
What kind of... I don't even want to go there. What kind of weapon would you make?
It'd be like a sword. But if a sword had 18 points and was the size of the sun.
What kind of weapon would you make, Bufo, if you could make a weapon?
A weapon? Like, that's not very chill. Maybe, I don't know, like a really big pillow that I can just smother people with.
What does contestant 2 think about that? What does Salt think?
That would be an excellent covert weapon. You wouldn't even see it coming. Especially if you were at a slumber party, and now I've never been to a slumber party or been invited to a slumber party. But from what I understand, pillow fights can get very out of hand.
I mean, have you ever watched a pillow fight? I like when they get out of hand.
I've never seen one personally, but I trust your judgment.
I think the date sort of goes on for a little bit longer, but Then the skies start to darken as lava pours from the heavens, and
Oh, it's just lava time.
yeah,
It's just lava time.
Lava o'clock.
So some they have to shut down the rides because they're melting. So the park has to close. And I believe it is time for the conversation between the two contestants.
Yeah.
So you're like you kind of got like anger issues, don't you? Is that your thing?
Who says I'm angry?
Well, you wanted to build a weapon as big as the sun.
Oh, well, no, I've never used any weapons against anybody else. They're simply just to look at, and perhaps you can hit a chunk of ice with it and see how well it chops the ice up, or that kind of thing.
Right. I know exactly what you mean.
I highly doubt you do. You seem like a bit of a slacker.
You see, Bufo is just like you can't tell that he's looking in a different direction, but the aviators just start moving off to the side and I'm sorry, what? Did you say something?
I see, and you're not attentive as well. You know what I appreciate about you, Bufo, though?
What?
You do know how to relax, which is something I can't do with my rigid stone body.
It's all right. Here, just let me help you. And he goes to like give her a weird pseudopod, or him a weird pseudopod like massage.
Yeah, I think we see Silk kind of get into it. Like, okay,
I don't know if Bufo knows who he's supposed to be dating this dating.
I'm there for that.
Can I have an aside, please?
Yes, you absolutely can.
That the Morningstar sees this happening, and it's just like, I dig it.
I ship it.
I've been in polyamorous relationships before. I'm not picky. That's my aside.
Let us go to back into the showroom. We see all three contestants sitting there in slightly different apparel if you wear it. Maybe a different pair of aviators.
He's got a denim vest floating.
Oh
Yes.
that's amazing.
Welcome back from that commercial break, and we're here to try to actually get more into what is going to happen with these contestants when they finally have a chance to spend some quality time with each other. Now, first up, we are going to actually, I'm sorry, it wasn't, you guys weren't there. My apologies. No one is there. Except the Morningstar and the host. Now, Morningstar, we have some videos from the dates that you were on. We have some clips from the one with Bufo first. Why don't we look at that one? And the video starts playing, and what do we see happening?
I think no, you pick where you take me on the date. Sorry.
Oh yeah, I do, don't I? Well, I can't say Doobie Brothers concert because we just did that. He takes Morningstar to his version of dinner in a movie, which is a hookah bar, followed by a convenience store to get food, followed by like a weird like indie film festival. They're probably just playing like Easy Rider or something. I don't know.
It was an interesting date, to say the least. I enjoyed the hookah bar. I liked seeing the smoke inside of his gelatinous body. That was very interesting to me. It was the 7-Eleven chili dog that really threw me off. He ate so many of them.
You can see them floating in his form, partially digested.
Don't forget the sushi, man. Nothing better than convenience store sushi.
I tried some of the sushi, and I'm a demon. Nothing makes me sick. I was sick for days. That's how mortals must feel when they get a stomach flu.
It just goes right on. Yeah.
So, it seems like this date had a lot of rocky moments.
Well, the movie was nice. I'd never seen that movie before. Very loud noises. I can see why someone like Bufo would love it, though. It's very much his aesthetic.
So, Bufo, have you seen that movie before yourself, or was that your first time watching it?
Man, I've seen Easy Rider more times than I can count. But have I ever been sober watching Easy Rider? Not a once.
He wasn't sober.
Not even this time.
No. We actually got to know... I got to see a couple of the other frogs in his collection.
Oh, what was that like?
Enlightening.
So, does that mean you're going to be leaving us for the heavens soon?
Oh, gods, no. I don't want to go somewhere where they wouldn't accept, a gelatinous figure like Bufo or someone with such big ears like our other contestant Salt. I'm so mean to that man. Someone's gonna show this to Will Willis one day, and I'm gonna regret it.
It's fine. I'll never see.
He'll never see it. Yeah.
Will Willis follows you on Twitter.
Please no.
So, Bufo, what were your thoughts on how the day went?
Well, Morningstar was pretty chill, willing to experiment with some different controlled substances. And
Were they really controlled?
Oh, you got me, man. But I appreciated that. I thought that was real groovy. And Morningstar didn't willing to try sick stuff, and didn't. A lot of people, when I go out, sometimes I have a tough time because people say, "Oh, you're gross. You don't have skin. You're getting me sticky," or like, "Oh no, you like convenience store sushi," and that's like a turnoff for a lot of people, man. But Morningstar rolled with it, and that was pretty awesome.
Morningstar, how do you have any thoughts about your experience rolling with it, as it were?
I mean, I roll with a lot of things. I'm a very open-minded type of demon. This was one of the most interesting dates I've ever been on. Very low-key, as you were. And, I love trying new things.
Do you want an aside if you want to say something different, not in front of him?
Yeah, I'm going to take an aside.
Okay.
So the date wasn't bad, don't get me wrong, but if I ever have to go to a 7-Eleven again, I'm going to start some kind of terrorist attack, so...
7-Eleven, a day that will live in infamy.
Why?
Because I always got those two confused as a child.
I love it! I love it so much.
Where are you going? I'm just going down the street to the 9-11.
We should not laugh about this. It's so insensitive.
Okay, sorry about that, everyone out there on the internet lands. We're not really that sorry. It was too funny to pass up.
We're laughing at the fact that Dave got numbers confused.
Yeah, that's what we're laughing at. So we also have clips of a rather different date that you went on with Salt. The following day, would you care to watch that footage with us too, and sort of compare your experiences between those dates?
Of course. Where'd you take me, baby?
So I think it's like this, like, montage, definitely set to montage music, of this first scene with Salt and the Morning Star, and Salt has like their arms around the Morning Star, and they're like sharpening an axe, like ghost style together.
Yes.
And then it cuts to what looks to be like a furious cooking competition between Salt and Bobby Flay.
Do you beat Bobby Flay?
Yeah, and with the Morning Star in the middle, and they're just passing these dishes to the Morning Star. And then it cuts to I think like a spa where Salt looks kind of like stiff and uncomfortable. But the Morning Star is, getting all of their toes massaged.
All 27. Is that what 14 plus 14 is? 28?
84, actually. The amount of years you've been the prince here.
And then it cuts to one final, like, blip scene of the Morning Star sitting, like, in the dirt of an abandoned warehouse while Salt reenacts the entire montage scene of Footloose.
What? Is there Kenny Loggins playing at least?
Oh, absolutely!
Yes,
If there isn't, I would have to add that.
Yeah.
Good. I needed that detail added.
Complication: the Kenny Loggins cuts out partway through the dance routine.
He just keeps going. Salt's just got this. Salt starts singing.
The music. But it's like, like it's not actual singing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the date.
I have to say, wonderful Kenny Loggins impersonation. He's down here in hell, and we get concerts all the time. Perfect.
Yes, actually, it was going to be a surprise, but he was going to be the musical guest after the show. But seeing that this happened, we're going to have to execute him again.
Oh, my condolences.
Anyways, so, Morningstar, what did you think about the date?
I thoroughly enjoyed it. There were many things that I'd never tried before. The whole axe part was weird. I got very tired in the middle of that, and I think for the most part Salt was doing all the work regardless. But it was still exhausting. High point though, the spa. My toes have never been shinier and smoother. They're wonderful. And that was a great part.
Salt, what were your thoughts about the spa experience you did today? The couples package it was?
Yes, it was the couples package, and I thought it was most wonderful
Aside.
to have. I never want that many hands to touch me ever again.
Cut back.
And I thought that the Morning Star looked as beautiful as the shadows cast by my forge at home.
Ooh, I give you demon blood for calling someone beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, thank you. I mean, the forge was very interesting. I do have to ask though, what inspired the whole dance scene, if you don't mind? Get it together, Dingo!
Dingo just loves.
You did this to yourself.
To be honest.
You did this. You made your bed.
Well, you wanted to see a more relaxed side of me, and I'm never more relaxed than when I'm punch dancing.
Relaxed punch dancing. That sounds like An interesting time. I can't say that I've heard of that. Is that an art that you learned somewhere?
Yes, I learned it from the king of punch dancing himself, Kevin Bacon.
Ah, Kevin Bacon.
Yeah.
He was also going to be a musical guest tonight.
Was he going to show us some of his punch dancing?
Unfortunately, yes. So we're going to have to cut off both his arms because we already used the executioner.
Shit.
Okay, that makes perfect sense.
Can I have his arms?
Talk to me after the show.
All right. But I thought that maybe you would want to see some other talents and how I like to unwind.
Oh, I definitely enjoyed. I thought that it was nice to see a different side of you. I got to see a different side of Bufo in our date, which is interesting because you can just see right through him. So I wanted to see a different side of you as well, and I got to.
So, was there anything that you would improve or change about the date then, Morningstar?
I don't know. I think you could make a bigger axe. Now that I've seen it, after what you've talked about, how you make the biggest axes, I think it can be bigger.
Yes, we are speaking very honestly, and from what I understand, you do love big axes, and you cannot lie.
No, I physically cannot lie.
Was that a problem on your date ever?
Oh no. I mean, I do agree that maybe I can make bigger axes. I swear that's never happened to me before. But next time for sure, a bigger axe.
I mean, maybe that's something you should start working on. We all appreciate big axes down here in hell.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now, I think that we've gotten a pretty good idea as to what these two are looking for in a relationship, and we're going to find out very soon after this next commercial break. It's actually 3 commercial breaks that it will be, what the Morningstar is going to decide. So why don't we tune back in and take a look at what our contestants think about their chances of winning. Each of you get an aside, and if you want, you can talk to each other afterwards.
Wait, hold on. I'm sorry, I'm confused. Which part is this?
I'm just mixing it up. You each get an aside, sort of like, how do you think you're doing? Do you think you have good chances going into tonight?
Oh, okay. Sorry, Bufo, go ahead.
Bufo, when the camera first cuts to his like single shot aside thing, he's just not moving, and then every once in a while you hear blub 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 just come out of him, and then so the cameraman's like, "Hey, are you asleep?" He's like, "Oh man, I just drifted off there for a minute." No, I think it's going pretty well, and it's been a really chill experience. Like, I got to eat a lot of vomit at the amusement park. I was down with that. And then I got to give Salt a good lick. That was good. I was really looking forward to that. And Morningstar and I got high together. So it's been great, man. Who am I supposed to be trying to woo again? Because like
You're supposed to be going after Morningstar.
Oh, well, Morningstar.
That's like a production assistant, by the way. Who's like, by the way, you're supposed to be going after
You
Morningstar.
can hear him from like echoing from behind.
Yeah, like it's pretty cool.
Did you not know who you were supposed to be going after this whole time?
Man, I just I just go with the flow or whatever. It's fine. Have a frog, man. You look tense.
You hear screaming and then ripping of hair. Cut to contestant number 2, Salt.
Yeah, I think we see Salt just looking like the most like furrowed brow, almost kind of like looking constipated. Like, I should have made a bigger axe. Should have made a bigger axe.
That was your regret about the date?
Other than the spa, I've made bigger axes. I can make a bigger axe. I mean, I have materials and I've done it. I just, I didn't want to overwhelm the Morningstar with my huge axe, We all have regrets, but I think this might be the biggest regret of my entire life.
Whispered aside, you see in text at the bottom of the screen, because the words are almost undiscernible, taking this job was the biggest mistake of my life. Did you two want to have a scene where you talk to each other after everything before the decision?
The two princes? Demon princes?
Yeah, the two contestants.
If you want, yeah, we can do that.
I'm good either way. I think Salt would approach Bufo as they're kind of like waiting for the decision to be made. And he kind of sits down stiffly.
Hey man, like I was saying earlier, you just gotta relax. You want another back rub? Because like you're gonna do fine. You got this.
I think after the show, I would appreciate another back rub. I have to say that was an unusually pleasant experience. Also, I just wanted to discuss with you what exactly you're composed of, because I thought maybe if I could just take a little bit of you, if that wouldn't hurt, and just like whisk it, maybe with some eggs or something.
Oh, that sounds gnarly. Yeah, here you go.
I want an aside with the Morningstar, just like, yeah, I'm really digging it. Yeah. Really
you took Morningstar to that spa and they got their toes cleaned. Like, do you know if that spa like kept any of that like toe cheese? Because man, good toe cheese is like my jam, man.
It's really hard to find in the culinary world, actually. So that's an excellent question, because you'd be amazed what you could do with toe cheese. But I guess there's only one way to find out. You ask them.
It's what I gotta do. It's what I'm gonna do. Just gotta get over there,
Are you drunk?
Well, not drunk so much, but let me just say there's a couple different things in my system at the moment.
And how many would you consider to be a couple?
7. And he holds up 5 pseudopods.
I see. So, in fact, several.
You realize that the glob of himself that he gave you might have several of these different chemicals laced inside of it.
When you make that with me, can you let me taste some of that after you do it? So, return to the mothership and whatnot.
Not many are willing to eat themselves. You're a special kind of demon, Bufo. I appreciate that about you.
You're pretty cool too, Salt. He gives a pseudopod thumbs up.
Yeah, I think Salt kind of like tries to high five and then maybe fist bump and then just winds up shaking it.
I mean, if you try and fist bump, you'll just go into him.
Oh god.
He gets stuck.
And you with your arm stuck in the pseudopod is where we cut to the Morningstar having to make their decision with the two of you like that.
In the background. Like,
Yeah.
I turn around and I look at it and I look back at the host. I'm like, no problem. You sure I can't pick 2?
I'm sorry, but technically that's not how the rules work.
And they turn to face the both of you. So, I really enjoyed my time with both of you. You both have aspects of partners that I would enjoy. And I think they look back at you, host, because they have to do their pleas. I forgot about that.
So yeah, why don't you each make a final case for why you should be picked?
I think so. Salt is still trying to get their fist out of Bufo, and they're saying, "Well, if you pick me, I swear I can make a really big axe, and then I could give it to you as a gift, and also we could just go to the spa all the time, and I think I would be a really supportive partner for you. I could keep you very grounded, which I think someone of your energy level, as you said, could need to be grounded every once in a while. And so that's why I think I would be the best pick."
Hey, if you just want to take it easy, then I'm your guy. Talk about supportive. People have used me as a beanbag chair like more times than I can count, man. A waterbed too sometimes.
How many times ended in vor?
Listen, I can be there for you. I can and I'm just, we can go and we can try new and exotic substances and travel around and or just stay in and relax. Like whatever floats your boat, dude.
Morningstar, you have a decision to make.
This is such a hard decision, but I think I'm going to do what I do best, and I'm going to choose myself.
No.
Charlie then.
But I'm not done. I'm not finished. I choose myself because I'd like to set the two of you up on a date so I can watch. I do quite enjoy voyeurism.
I think, Salt just kind of furrows their brow for a second, but then kind of looks over at Bufo.
Bufo gives a weird slime shrug.
It's like a wave.
Free love, man.
I would also be willing.
Wonderful! Look, I always win.
We just got a perfect ending.
I think the theme music plays and the credits roll as a armless Kevin Bacon tries to punch.
It's just his torso.
And you see there's this small little tab at the bottom that says the number of times the Morningstar has not chosen a contestant goes from 1 ding to.
Oh, that was wonderful. That was so good.
That was amazing, guys.
Holy shit. Oh, playing this game with you guys was wonderful.
Right? Chef's kiss.
Chef's kiss.
Chef's
Chef's kiss
kiss
in honor of Salt. Yeah, so we can go around and say our goodbyes and who you are, where people can find you, that kind of thing. And thank you all for playing with me. This was great. I know we didn't have Monster of the Week tonight. You could have done anything else, taking your night off, but Dingo and Dave forced us to play. That's the truth.
I'm not forced.
That's sort of the truth.
Forcing.
Demanded, not forced.
Heavily demanded.
Dave, you want to go first?
Sure. My name is Dave. You can find me here every other, or not here, but on Off the Table every other Friday, where I normally am playing the Devil Boy Lucius, who is very sad. You can also find me every Tuesday on Off the Table on the Urban Shadows campaign, where I play the autistic Fey boy Selden, who is also now very sad. You can also, hopefully in the near future, be finding me on a My Hero Academia podcast called Hero Talk Academia, where me and some of my friends will end up talking about things like characterization and stuff in that popular anime. You can find that social media account at Talkademia on Twitter.
Nice. I can't wait to be a guest. Talk about my sweet boy.
Nerd.
By Katy Perry.
I know. I love Hot and Cold by Katy Perry. Lex.
Sorry.
Hey, I'm Lex, and I have made an actual play fantasy comedy show called Dank Dungeons. You can go over to YouTube and find it there and watch it. 2 full seasons are up. A 3rd season is coming very soon. It's right around the corner. If you want to follow all the different things that I do, you can follow me on Twitter at Dank Dungeons TV. I'm in several different games. I'm in the Monster of the Week game. This was supposed to be, obviously, where I play Chip, who you already met this evening, so you know all about him. And then on Saturdays, every other Saturday, I play in a Dungeon World game with Katie as well, and I play the sternest, baldest narc you'll ever meet.
He was my husband for a short time.
For a short time, he couldn't keep up the charade. It was too much for him.
Love
He's
him and
married
leave
to the
him.
law.
Oh my god.
But yeah, if you want to support the stuff that I do, I have a Patreon, which you can stop by patreon.com/dankdungeons. And I wrote a monster cookbook called Joy of Monster Cooking for the D&D DMs Guild, which is up now. And I checked it as of tonight. We're at 99 sales. We are 1 sale away from silver status. We are so close.
Oh my god.
Taste it. It tastes
Is
it.
there a recipe for a fricassee in there?
I'm sorry, for what?
For a fricassee?
There actually isn't, which I feel bad about, but...
Okay, I have to Google what fricassee is.
It's fricassee.
Fricassee.
A dish of stewed or fried pieces of meat served in a thick white sauce. That's like 1 step away from just pasta.
Just give some noodles and it's
I mean, I
pasta.
call it fricassee. Ugh.
Dingo, do your outro.
No, I'm Dingo.
done.
You can find me hating on fricassee. No, you can find me on Twitter at Where's My Dingus. You can also find me on Off the Table every other Monday, every other Wednesday, and every Friday, playing various games: D&D, Burning Wheel, Lady Blackbird, Monster of the Week. You can also find me Saturdays, not this Saturday, because we just ended season 1, but after that, Saturdays I'll be on Pro Restarter's channel playing Dragon Knights, which is a D&D 5e campaign. And I feel like I'm missing something. I'll come back around to it. And every Saturday, Off the Table releases a podcast called Table Hearts that Lex is also kind of in. In the beginning, and Katie is also in. It's a Monster Hearts podcast that I run. So yeah, that comes out every Saturday, and I think actually that's it. I think that's the one that I wasn't saying.
I'm Katie, and this is my channel, and sometimes I run one-shots. I am starting a full campaign next month. I'm very scared about, but we'll see how that goes.
It's gonna be good.
I'm on Off the Table through the week. On Tuesdays during the day, I'm on the Greyhawk channel. Thursdays, I'm on Scraticus's channel. What?
That's the one I forgot.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
Dingo is also in Monster Hearts with me on Scraticus's channel. I run Monster Hearts there. She plays the Sasquatch, who has a very interesting musk. That hurt to say.
Extremely pleasurable musk.
And tomorrow I'll be running a charity game for Unmade Gaming, And on Sunday, I will be running my home group, the Presh Fuckos, as they've named themselves, through a battle royale. So it's going to be very fun. I hope that they have a great time. And I'm going to try to do a raid. We're going to see if I can raid Jess's channel. Yep. So we're doing in 10 seconds. So I will see you guys later. Let's go and tell her hello. She's running a spooky Monster of the Week game. Yay! So I will see you guys later. Bye.